Hey, chiropractors. Hey, are you tired of hearing time and money objections through any part of their care? Even if you have 90% of the patients start, how long do they stay? Do 9 out of 10 patients stay for at least 2 to 5 years, or they quit with some time and money excuse? Because we know time and money are not objections, they're actually excuses, but patients think they're reasons. And because they think they're reasons and we know they're excuses, the reason they have that is because we didn't shift their mindset. I went through the same thing myself, practicing. I had 4 practices in 14 years. And with the 4 coaches I used, no one could explain to me why one person committed, stayed with their life, brought in their family, stayed for years and years and years, and why somebody else quit. They couldn't give me that answer. So 23 years ago, I started studying human behavior to learn how do people make life-changing decisions, how to get all my patients, 90%, think and look at chiropractic like I do, because if they did, we wouldn't be going through all the fear of the pandemic. We wouldn't have people running out to put a needle in their arm thinking there's more power in a needle that some man thought of that's smarter than the immune system that God gave us. And people are thirsting for the chiropractic message to move from fear into confidence, and now is your time. So how do we eliminate time and money excuses? Well, first of all, we got to make a paradigm shift, not only in our heart, but certainly in our mind. And what do we hear? How's your patient education system? Hey, guess what? If patient education worked, we'd be seeing a heck of a lot more people for their whole life, at least in this country and beyond, than we really are. So here's the reality. Information doesn't change people's belief systems. It does on some level, but not even close to 90%. It's more like 20%, 30% at the most. So until we change belief systems, we can't change the way people live. And the reality is, when I started studying human behavior is when I went from patient education to patient experience. This is what the rest of the world is doing. When people are running to pharmaceutical companies to get Pfizer or to get these companies to put a needle in their arm, what are these people doing? They're using psychology to create an experience. All you have to do is look at a drug commercial. What do they show? They're advertising a drug. They show people happy, running around in the sun, blah, blah, blah. What do they go? They're creating an experience. And what do they go through then? Oh, by the way, you could die, you could, anal leakage, you can get all these symptoms, and they rattle them off at the end, yet people still run to their doctor to get that drug. Why? Because even marketing is changing beliefs. They're not just advertising, they're marketing, they're changing belief systems through the media, through everything, and then people run because they are using psychology. Yet did we study psychology to give them the greatest gift that they could ever have, a God-given immune system, God-given health, where humanity has fought thousands and actually trillions more. There's 10 to the 31 viruses outside your body and inside your body. We need viruses to be healthy. And the way God created us can fight any virus. Okay, so that's it. They are starving for the chiropractic message. So what's the point? Let's trade patient education for patient experience. Now, we teach patient experience in the boot camps, and I'm going to create a series of videos that shows you how to create that experience right from day one, so we wire them into a lifestyle mindset. So what I want to do, here's the principle here, move from patient education to patient experience. It's not what you say, it's what you do. It's not what you say, it's what you do. If everything was based on what we would say, then all we'd have to do is tell them the principle, people would change their life, but it doesn't work that way. It's what we do. So today I'm going to give you 2 things that you do in a pre-consultation, you do throughout everywhere, but starting the pre-consultation, that can shift people's mindset. The first one is getting multiple agreements. What's that mean? When people agree, there's a human behavior principle called commitment and consistency. And when they agree and they verbalize, and they move their head, they move their body. It wires into their nervous system, and they feel responsible to follow through. So when they are in agreement is influence. And when they move in agreement, you have a powerful influence that wires in their body, and then you create an experience in their body that changes their mind. And that's psychology. That's how we work. When you create an experience in your body, it changes your mind. So in our pre-consultation and elite, we have 14, how many? We have 10 and 4, 14 consecutive agreements in 4 minutes. Now that's the one thing. Let's get those consecutive agreements. What's the second thing? Analogies and metaphor. And metaphors make something that's unfamiliar and creates a bridge to make it familiar. So what do? You accelerate the learning. So we go through the introduction. I'm not going to go through that, but let's just go through describing the spine. Hey, the brain sends energy down the spinal cord. It's like a river. It's like a waterfall. It's like a fire hose. In our script, we say river, but you can use either one. See, when you have an analogy, it's like a faucet that's turned wide open. Now, what do they imagine? They imagine a waterfall. They imagine a fire hose. They see it because imagination is more powerful than knowledge. When you stimulate their imagination, you stimulate a feeling in their body, and now you create an experience that accelerates the learning, that creates an experience, and their nervous system, it wires into their mind, then wires into their subconscious mind, and that's why they don't forget it, because you're not teaching them what to think, you're teaching them how to think. So here's the deal. It's like fire hose, it's like a water turned wide open, sends energy through all the nerves, each and every organ. Each and every organ is totally dependent on that energy to keep you alive and healthy. Mary, Mrs. Jones, Jim, can you see that? Can you see how that works? Now, what are they also doing? They're watching your body. Now, we have all this on video and we have it on audio. We role play this through the pre-consult. We spent 3 hours on this at Bootcamp 1. We're going to be there in April in Phoenix. So we show you how to use your body. They're watching how you move to accelerate the learning. There's the third thing, right? Agreements, how to use your body, accelerate the learning using metaphors. This is even in the first 4 minutes. Mr. Jones, can you see how that works? And they're going to go, yes. What do? You pace and lead. So now they got it. You watch how it lands. Is it anchored in their nervous system? Now you move on. Because of sudden trauma, some are sudden, some over time. The bones or old curves in the spine shift out of place. You show them it shifts. It's called a subluxation. Can you read that? Can you say that with me? It's right here. Now, when they say subluxation, it wires into them. You just taught them Latin. If they don't understand a principle, they stop learning. Then what do you say? Your subluxation is like a dimmer switch on a wall. It's like turning a faucet down. It's like going from a fire hose to a garden hose. It shuts down the energy. The energy doesn't get through the nerves. Now, the organs at the end of those nerves, you're showing them on the autonomic nervous system chart. The organs at the end of those nerves progressively break down, weaken, degenerate, and cause disease. You have to go all the way to disease. Can you see how that would happen? Yes. Now what you're doing is you're tying in the organs. And because this is where we're going to go in the consultation. Can you see that, Mr. Jones? Yes. You watch their body language. Do they agree? Are they not moving? If they don't verbally and physically move their body, they don't feel that in their nervous system. If you're just lecturing and they're just watching you, you're not creating an experience. You're creating education. That's your patient education system. They could disagree with you. You have no idea. They could not understand. But because they're not moving, because they're not verbalizing, because you didn't pause, because you didn't check in with them, now they may grasp it as information, but they're not going to remember. Because it's not as important as what you say as it is as important, more important to what you do. What are you doing? You're making them move. You're allowing them to verbalize. You're using their body. You're using metaphors to associate a greater and accelerate their learning to make it familiar. Then what do? Hey, when one area shifts, you guys know this, whole spine works like one unit. It actually subluxates and weakens the other parts of your spine, which distorts your posture. When your posture is distorted, causes stress to the whole spinal cord. Now see what I'm doing? I'd be pointing to the whole spinal cord. Now the brain can hardly get any energy out there. Now all the organs, sweep all the organs, will progressively weaken, degenerate. What am I doing? Cause disease. Can you see that, Mary? Can you see that, Mr. Jones? Call him by the first name. Can you see that, Jim? They go, yeah, I get it. Now here's a big agreement. So can you see how your posture affects your overall health? And they're going to go, wow, yeah. Now what you did was you took them from back pain into a full spine overall health problem. That is an important agreement, because rarely is there a problem in one area and not a problem in the other. The whole spine works like one unit. Very rarely can you have a problem in one area and not a problem in another. You could have a worse problem in an area, but you tend to have a full spine problem, and you guys know that. Now we've expanded their consciousness. Now, because they agree, they understand it more. Then what are you going to say? Many postural distortions don't cause any pain. By the time you're in pain, your body's in a crisis, the nerves are inflamed, energy's not getting to the organs, and now the organs are also being affected. Can you see that? Now, what's that set them up for? When they go, yeah, I can see that, that sets you up for the consultation. Now you can talk about their overall health, even in areas where their spine may not hurt. Because have you ever had a patient say, Doc, why are you asking me about my allergies when I'm here for back pain? What you didn't do was get the agreements. What you didn't do was get them to a full spine overall health problem. What you didn't do was get them to agree that regardless if they feel pain, the organs can be affected. And that's why you run into objections. And if you don't get that and you focus on the pain, or worse yet, you say, Miss Jones, how is your back pain affecting your life? Worse yet, this is the worst thing you can do. Now, this will start a patient, but it will not create a lifetime patient. Why? Miss Jones, how's your back pain affecting your life? Well, I can't pick up my kids, so I don't feel like a good mom. That's a highly emotional reason that you just associated and coupled and wired in their brain with back pain. So the minute their back pain's gone, now they can pick up their kids. There isn't any organ association. Even if you talk about the organs, you've created such a strong, neuro-emotionally deeply rooted subconscious pattern that that's going to tend the way they're going to behave. And that is human behavior. So you get them to a full spine overall health agreement right away in the first 4 minutes, and you address their back pain, but now you focus on everything in the consultation. And I'll show you how to do that on another video. And man, now they're wired for something that's way bigger. But if you start with back pain and you associate it with emotions rather than getting to frame this full spine overall health problem right away, that's why the average patient, you could start 90%, but 90% are not staying for at least 2 to 5 years. That's the problem. How do you know? Look at your PVA. It's you take how many patients you see per week divided by your new patients per week. If you see 200 a week, 5 new patients, that's 40 PVA. I spent 11 years with a 40 PVA. I learned how to do things differently when we went up through the roof. People were either out in 2 or they were in for 150. And we could get 70 to 80% into 150. And that was before I had 23 years of human behavior, which we teach in the Mindset Mastery Bootcamps. So go to Elite Coaching. What's really powerful is this book, Back to Health. So if you don't, and I'm going to show you that, give this to them on day one. The patients, this is $10 for you. If you could create a lifestyle mindset patient that can read it with their spouse and get their spouse in as well, signed up at Understanding a Lifestyle Mindset for $10, would you do that? Go to Elite Coaching LLC. Now, I'm not here to sell a book. I mean, yeah, $2. It creates lifestyle patients. You understand? This isn't a product or service. This is a tool that they can read that you don't have to spend a bunch of time and money. Go to elitecoachingllc.com. Check out the boot camps. But here's the first tip on moving from patient education to patient experience. And that are I actually gave you 3 things: multiple agreements, use metaphors, use your body to explain. They're watching how you move. Create the experience, move from patient education to patient experience, use metaphors and analogies to accelerate their learning, and you will notice a massive change massive change and get into the elite pre-consultation. All right, gang. Have a good one. Thanks for listening. Got more great stuff coming up. Peace to you. Thanks.